Welcome. So I want to share to you with you today about our ministry. So this is the Bradley family, and yeah, this is the whole bunch. So I want to share a little bit about who we are and how we got here, literally and figuratively. So this is my husband, Josh. We've been married for 21 years this past spring. And yeah, we both really mostly grew up in Wells County, spent our whole lives in Wells County, um, and had all of these kiddos. So these are our boys. So Kason is our oldest, and this is his fiance, Carly. This is Gage in the middle. So Kason's 20. Gage is 18 and just moved to Muncie and started a new job this past week. And then Holden is 12 and he is here with us. These are the girls. So Emery is 14. She's the oldest here with us. And then Selah is 8 and Aisley is 2. She had her first birthday here in the Philippines when we were doing a training and then got to celebrate her second birthday here as well. So the kids joked about if she'll ever have a birthday in the US, which I'm sure she will, just not yet. So how did we get here? So we actually have always had a heart for missions. We got married. I was straight out of high school. He was a couple years out. Um, and I said, you know, I'm going to get married and I'm going to move to the African bush and live in a little hut. So if you don't want to do that, you're not the right guy for me. And Josh didn't say a whole lot at that point, but he hung around. So missions has always been really part of our relationship, our heart, our goal. And it took 20 years really to get there, almost 21. But we started before we had the opportunity to go into missions, and we went to the most diverse square mile in America, which is right outside of Atlanta. It's called Clarkston, and it has every unreached people group that has ever been resettled in the US in this little 1.4 square area. And the high school had 157 languages spoken. This is a group of ladies through the nonprofit that I worked with who come alongside of immigrants and refugees through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum to provide childbirth education and support. And so we were supposed to be there for 6 months to do their program, a missions training program, which turned into actually going on staff and staying there for 3 years and getting to work with a whole lot of women giving birth who just have come here from all over the world. So it was quite the experience. And that's really where my dueling started. It actually started prior to finding this ministry, but it was a perfect fit. So this is where we were for 3 years, and we had the opportunity to go to Thailand, to go to India, and to go to a couple places to see, like, Lord, what do you have for us next? And he said, go back to Fort Wayne. So that was pretty devastating. I was like, anywhere but Fort Wayne. And so we're from just south of Fort Wayne. So this is our first time living in Fort Wayne, but we packed up all of our little kiddos over there. No, they did not ride in the U-Haul. And we moved back to where we're from. And I started a non-for-profit similar to the one that I was working at around the Atlanta area, and started coming alongside of immigrants and refugees and teen moms in Fort Wayne, providing childbirth education and doula services. And I knew that there was a huge gap. We have the largest Burmese refugee population outside of Thailand, and these women really needed support. And so I knew the best way to do that was to find other women within that community, within that culture, who spoke the language, to be the one to provide the education and support. So that opened a door to starting a doula training. So at first, I was coming alongside of all of these women and families, supporting them by myself. And then we had this opportunity to start a Christian doula training. So something that encompassed community, ministry, and our values and beliefs. And so I started to put that together and develop that with some other people. And we started training doulas in our area who spoke different languages, who were from different cultures and communities. The first Burmese refugee doulas or Burmese doulas potentially in the world. First Spanish speaking doulas, first doulas of color in our area, a whole lot of doulas. And so that led to the opportunity to go outside of our area and actually go to other countries and train up doulas there. So we got to go to Kyrgyzstan, which is next to Russia, and then we got to go to Cape Town, South Africa, and train up community health workers. And both of these places, Kyrgyzstan didn't have any doulas. South Africa had not very many. And then we got to go to the Philippines, which is what this picture is, and train up doulas in 2023. And so, yeah, we fell in love with the people and the community and the culture, and just love the opportunity. And we doubled how many doulas are here, which is awesome. Because we always need more doulas for sure. So, what is a doula? So, I'll touch on that real quick. So, a doula is a person who comes alongside of a woman during pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, providing continuous physical, emotional, educational, and advocacy support, and also spiritual support for that woman during that season, during that time. So, it's an awesome opportunity. They're non-medical, but they are birth professionals. So they're not doing vitals. They're not doing fetal heart tones. They're not checking the mom or baby. They're caring for her in all those other ways that are non-medical. So we know that there are three times in a person's life when they're most open to spiritual things, and that is birth, death, and marriage. And pastors already oversee the marriage ceremony and can share the gospel. They already oversee the funeral ceremony and share the gospel. And so, birth and pregnancy is the last opportunity where people are really seeking spiritual answers. And it's an opportunity for women to come alongside of women, whether that's as doulas, lactation, midwives, whatever that looks like. We get a whole season to spend with these women. And when we do that, we get to meet both physical and spiritual needs of not just the woman, the baby, but the whole family. And it just makes it easier to really hear and learn about who Jesus is when they're getting physical needs met as well. And so being able to come in, whether non-medical or medical. So a midwife is a medical provider, like an OBGYN. They just they can't do C-sections, but they can provide holistic maternal and postpartum care. But they are the providers. So they are the ones doing the vitals and the fetal heart tones and checking on mom, checking on baby. And so after spending years as a doula and an educator, I was like, Lord, where do you have us next? What do you want us to do? And he said, there's such a huge impact and ripples from training Christian doulas to serve within their own community. Now be a midwife so you can train more Christian midwives to serve in their community as well. There's such huge pillars in every community that they serve. So that's part of how we got here. So I'm a student midwife here. And I want to touch on the state of the world. So this is the 1040 window. If you don't know what that is, it is longitude and latitude of 10 to 40 degrees. And this map shows the unreached people groups and the unengaged people groups. So an unreached people group means that they don't have a Bible in their language, they don't have churches in their area, they don't really have Christians. And an unengaged group is they could have those things, but they're still not believers. So about 1/3 of the world proclaims to be believers, to be Christians, and they have access to all of those things. 1/3 of the world has access to those things, the Bible, to churches, but are not believers. And then about 1/3 of the world, it's about 28 to 29% of the population have no access. They are unreached people groups with no access. No one is engaging them. There are no churches. There are no Bibles in their area. So, what does that mean? So, what that means for us is the Philippines is made up of 7,000 to 14,000 islands. It really depends on who you ask. But within the Philippines, there are 27 known unreached people groups. And recently, we have friends who actually transported and delivered the New Testament in a new language for the first time ever. And that was just a few weeks ago. So there is still progress being made. They're still an unreached people group because they're just now getting a Bible, just now then have the ability to start a church and things like that. So hopefully this number will become less and less. They are in the 1040 window, so they have the biggest need. Manila is the most densely populated city in the world. So it's 14 plus million. So 14 to 17 million, depending on where you call Metro Manila. And what's so important about that is from COVID, from typhoons, from hurricanes, all of these things are forcing more people out of the rural areas, the providences, and into the city to be able to find work to afford and pay for their family. So a lot of families are split, where one or two parents will be in the city and the kids might be with the grandparents in the province in the more agricultural areas. And so they're not even living together sometimes or only see each other on the weekends. But what this does is these unreached people groups who would have normally potentially never left their island or their area are now coming to the bigger cities to be able to sustain income and be able to have work. So Manila is super diverse, not just with unreached people groups from the Philippines, but also unreached people groups and people from all over the world. It's a very diverse area where people are coming for jobs, for work. The airport's one of the most international, busiest airports in the world. So people are coming here. So it looks different to go find and meet with unreached people groups because they're not necessarily in the most deep jungles and villages. They're now coming to cities as well. So this is, see if I can. I was going to share with you a video, but it does not want to let me do that. But here is Shifra Birthing Home. So this is where I'm working here in Manila. This is one of the midwives and some other interns that have worked with us. So here's a little bit about some of the things that I've been doing and babies that I've been taking care of and families that I've served, the opportunity to pray with the women that I'm working with and to really pour into them during this season of life has just been such a blessing. So, what does Josh do? That's a great question. So, Josh helps in all different kinds of ways with logistics. When we've done trainings and he's come with us, he has been able to figure a bunch of things out for us as far as transportation and logistics and running sound and running all the electronics, helping putting classes together and doing all the behind the scenes work. He's now starting to settle in and plug into some ministries and doing some different things here now that we are kind of settled, and have more permanent housing for the next 12 months. And so he's also filling in and doing some of the things we've kind of flipped. So as a student, I'm still taking classes. And I'm in clinic every day in the mornings. And so he's taking over homeschooling the kids as well and making sure that the household is running so I can finish the things that I need to do as well to really serve these families well. So it kind of looks different what Josh does depending on what we need him to do. But he is holding down the fort and doing logistics and things like that for us as well. And so, yeah, it just kind of looks different depending on the day and the week of how he is joining in. But he's starting to find his own ministries and his own ways of being part of the community outside of home as well. So, how can you get involved? So, you can join our newsletter and our prayer team, which we always need more people praying for us, praying for the families that we're meeting, praying for the ministry, joining us through a monthly partnership. That would be amazing. We couldn't do this work without monthly partners. We are half on support and half on teaching and training. So, I still teach and train up Christian birth doulas and Christian postpartum doulas and childbirth educators through our organization and our program that we started. So that supplements some of our income. But that's not ever guaranteed or known how many students we'll have and all of those things. But and with our internet connection, that makes it super difficult. but we're doing the best we can. So the other half is supporters. We have a sending church and a few churches that donate, as well as just individuals like yourself. So we're currently at 80%. So we've had some wonderful, sweet partners who have dropped off recently due to job changes and life situations. And so as of right now, they have stepped away, but hopefully they will be back. But right now we're at 80%. So that's a huge prayer request. And we're at 74% of what we needed one-time gifts. And a big part of that is to cover, like right now we have a car. So that was a huge thing. We have not had a car. We've been here for 6 months and we got a car, and guess what? It needed some work. And so we took it to a mechanic and they did a few things, and that wasn't the work that it needed. So we got it back and realized, yep, that did not fix the problem. So it's actually currently there right now. We went this morning to talk to the guy again, and he's like, hey, I think this is what it is. And so we will see, hopefully this afternoon it will be done and fix. So we don't have any transportation, which we walk a lot of places in our community, but Shipra is farther away. So I do have to take public transit, a motorcycle, a trike, a jeepney. They have Grab here, which is like Asian Uber, but that's quite expensive. But sometimes during the rainy season, which is June through December, so half the year, it's just raining so much you can't take a motorcycle. You really need to take a car. And if I have a birth, I've actually missed a few births this month. This is the first time to really miss births, but I haven't been able to make it there logistically in time to see these babies be born. So we're hoping this car thing is resolved. And so that's what that is as far as like visas. So we just renewed that. We have to renew a visa every 59 days. So every 2 months. And that's quite expensive this last time. Hoping that this car situation is fixed. And we'll have the transportation needed to do the ministry that we're here and called to do. But we still need more partners to make that happen and really be a part of changing her story and the whole family's story. And so we would love for you to join us in whatever capacity the Lord is leading you. Be part of changing her birth story. And really, there's a saying that peace on earth begins with birth. And women remember how they were treated, how they felt when they were giving birth, had their babies. And it's just such a sacred time. And it's a place where spiritual warfare is always happening, because Satan does not like new life. Satan does not like birth and the purity of it and the miracle of it. And so we just invite you to partner with our ministry, Created to Birth Ministry, to be able to train up more Christian doulas, childbirth educators, lactation, midwives, to be able to use birth work as a way to meet both physical and spiritual needs in their own community, being the hands and feet of Jesus and sharing the gospel. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. And we are so glad you took some time to get to know us. So thank you. Being able to walk alongside of a woman during pregnancy, birth, and postpartum is both a blessing and an honor. To be able to be invited into that sacred space of birth and bringing forth life, to be able to come alongside and give continuous physical, emotional, educational, advocacy, and spiritual support is like no other. To be a woman, to be able to be with women, to come alongside women, to serve women, to love women well during this season. There are 3 times in a person's life when they're most open to spiritual conversations and are seeking spiritual truths, and that is birth, death, and marriage. So to be able to come alongside of them during birth is a time to meet both those physical and spiritual needs. For you created my innermost being. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Psalms 139, 13 through 16. Birth work is ministry.